Welcome everyone. Today we are here with Ashton Golz, the manager of Goliath Gaming. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. I'm doing great, thank you. As you said, Ashton Golz Muller here from GG, and happy to be here.
So give me a quick rundown of your history with CSGO. Where did it begin?
So it first began, when I was about 13 years old in grade 7, and my brother basically wanted to go to a LAN, or he got invited to one, and my parents basically gave him the bad news that he has to take his annoying little brother with, otherwise he can't go. Of course, I went along, and after about 5 hours of just kind of waiting around and watching, eventually CS was being played, and I got my first opportunity to kind of play. I think from that point, the bug bit, that's where I kind of showed my friends, I got a computer, all that sort of stuff, and I think it was about 2 years after that where I got exposed to the competitive scene. That was just going to a rage, going with friends, just going to have a good time, and I came across this big sealed off arena with all 32 teams of these guys playing hardcore CS, where they're shouting at each other, one guy shouting at the guy across. It was proper old school stuff, and I just looked at that and I just kind of felt like that this is what I want to do. This is what this game means. And that must have been, if I was 13, it's long ago. It's many years ago.
So how does today's SA esports scene compare to how it started? Did you think that we ever would have gotten to this point as quickly as we did?
I think so. I think we've always followed like a global trend in that sense, where we've always been a little bit behind, whether it's anything really technology related. I do think that we would have got here. I think it's incredible now that we're getting to the point where we've having consistent huge tournaments, big events, and I've committed a lot of my life to this. I've committed a lot of time to this, and I just I feel like I wouldn't have done that if I didn't believe in this. So I am also an undying optimist. But yes, to answer your question, yeah.
As a manager for Goliath Gaming, what was your most memorable experience?
If I had to pinpoint one, it would definitely be like winning our first major event, was having a Dota 2 team, Comic-Con. They managed to secure the win. But one that kind of pulls into this conversation and one that really resonates is being able to go overseas with my CS team. It was a goal I'd set long ago, and I think it was an incredible experience. The whole got wrecked by COVID. We didn't get the results that we wanted. It didn't really matter anyway. Even if we had won to go to Rio, the world just stopped. But that was probably the best moment, and probably the next moment that I want to repeat.
What role do you believe organizations fulfill in the growing of the scene and securing further investors?
They play an important role. I think just as important as all the others. Obviously from tournament perspective and talent such as yourself, it's all important. It needs to all work together. I think the responsibility that we have, that we've put on ourselves, is to be giving the players, to be providing the players with as best support or value as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, for an organization, it's you at the end of the chain. You the guys there that are lifting the trophy, and people can't tell a story. People can't hype that up. People can't explain how much that means if you don't do that yourself, if you don't promote that yourself. But at the same time, you also rely on other elements that kind of contribute towards that. But definitely an important role. But I think the most important responsibility or function needs to be finding those good up and coming players, or finding that talent, or finding whatever it is that you wanted to support. Obviously, for me, it was CS. Being able to give those guys a chance or an opportunity to achieve what it is that they want to achieve.
So when Umzansi was first announced, what were your thoughts and your expectations? Have they been met, or what's the case with that?
When it was announced, it's always awesome to welcome another event or another team of people that are trying to create something, create opportunity, create a place for you to kind of show your value, or for most importantly, again, the players. I'll speak from an organizational point of view, but allow them to compete and do things at a high level. In terms of expectations, no, sadly, just purely because of 2020. So just the theme. I think one of the biggest strengths that the guys from Nodwin would have wanted to focus on, it seemed like a big focus of theirs, was the live events, the LAN events, bringing people to watch the space, watch the sport, and obviously, the whole world shut down in that perspective, and that's obviously not their fault. But other than that, we get into the final weekend, and now it's crunch time. So looking forward to be part of it.
Going into the Umzansi finals weekend, and any final in general, really, how involved are you with your players on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so again, I think had it been an event, I think it would have been a lot more. Generally, before every single competition, we always have the guys boot camping for at least like a week before, just getting on the same page, even outside of the game, and that's where obviously I have a lot more hands-on, kind of approach. This is, to give you an idea, this is the longest I think I've been apart from my team historically ever, even in my own personal playing kind of experience in terms of how often LAN events are. As of right now, up until this weekend, very small interference. I mean, the guys are at the point where I understand, especially as a CS player, that they are doing, they want to win. Like I want to win, they want to win. It's we are on the same page. That's why we're doing this thing together. So for me, like I don't need to have that sort of hands-on approach, and obviously it's very difficult right now. But no, they handle themselves. They're professionals. They've got their own goals, ambitions that are big. They're similar to mine. So at the end of the day, it's a two-way kind of win-lose. And ultimately, I'm just there to be there, basically as the waterman. If there is stress, if there is something that needs to get done, if there's something that I see that I can hopefully offer some sort of advice, then I will jump in. I'll get involved. But the reality is that even though I was a pro player, like these guys right now are doing way more than I used to. They are committing way more time. The drills, the experience. They're reaching out to these international coaches, international people. They're often asking, what is the optimum? It's not about whether or not you're going to practice anymore. It's about how can we do it the best way, the most efficient to compete against the guy next to me, which is something that wasn't that prevalent in our day. Perhaps not an opportunity or not a situation that I could do. I mean, it was just never a thing. But that's where I have that respect for what they want to do, and I got to let them do their thing, man.
Well, Golz, thank you so much for your time and all your efforts in the scene up until now, and I hope you continue what you're doing, and I'm keen to see Goliath in the finals.